cooler.
Okay. All right. Good morning, everyone. So the past few days in America has been a little crazy and nobody is breathing. Everybody is frustrated. So we're going to start with a little pranayama, actually. So you could stand, kneel, sit, whatever suits you. We're just going to take 2 minutes or so. Positioning of the body doesn't really matter as long as you're upright. And then just close the eyes. Hands could be in your lap, on your knees, palms up or down. And just take a deep inhale through your nose. Feel your ribs expand in all directions. And hold the breath at the top for a few seconds. Slowly exhale. And take as long as you can to exhale. Whenever you get to the bottom of the breath, just inhale again, naturally, nice and big, expansive, and hold it in for a few seconds. You can either keep your chin just normal when you hold in, or you can lock Jalandhara Bandha, chin to chest, chest up toward chin. And whenever you're ready to exhale, just lift the chin if you had it down, and go as slow as you can. Not to the point of discomfort, just controlling. And again, inhale. Hold. And exhale. One more time like that. Inhale. Hold at the top. Slowly exhale. We'll do the next one mostly the same, except the exhale will accompany the sound of Om. The hands can lift to prayer if you want. Inhale again. If you think you're at the top of the breath, chances are you can sip in a little extra. Hold it when you get there. And take your time coming into downward dog. We'll just meet in down dog, pedal the feet, adjust yourself however you need to. And try to keep your attention on your breath. After your next exhale, step or jump, feet to hands. Inhale at the top, straighter the legs. And exhale to fold. Rise all the way up. Inhale. And let's interlace the fingers, steeple mudra. Reach to the right, push your hips to the left. Inhale through center, fingertips to the ceiling, or the pointer fingertips. Woo, and exhale to the other side. I had my eyes closed, so I tipped over. And we'll inhale through center, belly to spine. And exhale, release the hands, fold forward. Halfway up, inhale. And step or jump back, bend the elbows, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. And exhale to downward facing. 1. We're going to stay here for 5 breaths. 2. So we can't control everything in the outer universe. 3, but let's think of the internal universe. 4. And do what we can to bring some tranquility there. And 5. After the exhale, step or jump feet to hands. Inhale, chest forward. Exhale, fold. Rise all the way up, hold opposite elbows when you get there. And just take your forearms to the right, push your hips to the left. Side bending. Inhale, rise through center, like your forearms are going to touch the ceiling, and then over to the other side for the exhale. Hips opposite forearms. Inhale through center, release and fold, exhale. Halfway up, inhale to chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. We'll keep the legs strong. On your inhale, just lift your heels as high as you can. And exhale to lower the heels again to the floor or toward the floor. And again, heels up high, inhale. Just there's a little more weight in the hand. Exhale, heels down. Inhale. Notice your butt comes forward a bit when the heels come up. Exhale, heels down. One more time. The butt goes up. And then the butt goes back. Step or jump, feet to hands. Inhale at the top of the mat. And fold, exhale. Rise all the way up. Inhale. And this time just lower your left hand to your thigh. And we're just going to side bend with one arm down, one arm reaching. So it no longer has the other arm to help it sort of stay in line. You can either keep reaching that arm straight or put the hand behind the head, elbow in a bit, and press the head back. Some of us will find that useful so that we don't slump forward at all. Keep the belly in. And on your next inhale, just rise up and change the arms. Exhale, over to the other side. Make a choice about your arm. So whether you keep it straight and reach to the fingers or whether you bend it and reach for the elbow, you're trying to stretch this line between your hip and your elbow. We want to keep it all on the same plane. So if you find that you're leaning forward at all, the hand behind the head just helps keep you in check. And we'll slowly come up through center, inhale. Let's reach both arms up and fold forward, exhale. Halfway up for the inhale. And step or jump back, chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. Right leg to the ceiling, inhale. And step it to the hands, exhale. Just a high lunge, back heel's gonna stay up, all our toes will face front. And we'll just stay here for a second, get used to this feeling in the left thigh. Maybe you can look up. Maybe lean back a little bit more into a slightly deeper back bend. And we'll exhale, hands to the floor into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Left leg to the ceiling, inhale. And core strength and momentum steps that foot between the hands. High lunge. So if you have any back pain, you're just going to bend your back knee a little bit. Then your tailbone will have an easier time moving toward the ground. Maybe you can reach up higher and arc back a little bit. And on your next exhale, lower the hands, step into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. And we'll come onto the elbows so that our forearms are parallel. You decide how close your feet are to your elbows. And when you get to a comfortable spot, heels up for an inhale, and heels down for an exhale. And just like in the straight arm down dog, your butt is reaching forward a little bit as you inhale, and it's moving back as you exhale. Keep pressing into your hands so that at no point are you out of control with where your head is located. You always know it's off the ground and your armpits are moving back toward your legs. The next time that your heels are moving down, straighten the arms, regular downward dog, and stepward jump, feet to hands. Inhale when you get there. Fold, exhale. Bend into the knees, inhale. And let's hold that steeple mudra like we did before. I'm just gonna face this way. And we'll keep our knees bent and just go over to one side with your arms. Doesn't matter which side because we're gonna switch in a moment. But now you're dropping that hip toward the ground a little bit more obviously. And we'll come through center on an inhale and over to the other side. And you'll automatically drop that hip because otherwise you'll topple over. So to compensate for the weight of the arms moving one way, you adjust where your hips are in space. And we'll come through center, inhale, fold, exhale, straighten the legs. Halfway up, inhale, stepward jump chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale, downward facing, exhale. Right leg high, inhale, this time rounded plank, knee to the nose. We're just gonna stay here for a moment. So it's a lot of core, and it's your hamstring squeezing your right heel up toward your butt so that your toes don't drag on the ground. Let's step that right foot forward. High lunge, reach up. And this time, right arm under left, twist them like ropes, those eagle arms. And we'll try to lift the elbows up, thumbs away from the face. Same deal as before with the back knee. If you have any back pain, just bend it. And as you feel comfortable, arc a little bit more. Keep moving the thumbs away from the face. It's really tempting to let them kind of crash in. Slowly unravel, reach up, inhale. And chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. Rounded plank, left leg up. Inhale, and knee toward the nose or the forehead. Arms stay straight. Belly in. Spine toward the ceiling. And then it's going to be less momentum, more strength to step forward. Foot between the hands. Reach up when you're ready. And when you can, left under right. Eagle arms. This is my tight side, so sometimes I interlace the fingers and use that to get the palms closer together. And once you feel like the palms are in a good spot, or maybe your hands on your forearm, that's okay too. Elbows up. Thumbs away. Two more breaths. And one. We'll keep the lunge as we unravel the arms. Reach up on an inhale. And just step to chaturanga for your exhale. Upward facing, inhale. And downward facing, exhale. Let's lower to the knees. Measure out your elbow distance. Just wrap your fingers around the edge of your arms. Interlace the fingers, dolphin. So it's very similar to down dog B. Just now your fingers are interlaced. Your shoulders have a little bit easier of a rotation. And you get the joy of working the edge of your hand and the wrist into the floor. Walk your feet as close to your elbows as you can without the head clunking onto the ground. And then inhale, heels up. Exhale, heels down. And you'll notice how much work you have to do to push into the floor with the edge of your hand and your wrist to control this pose. The next time that your heels are down, walk your feet back again to a nice normal place. Separate the hands so you're in down dog B, and just straighten the arms to a normal down dog. After your next exhale, step or jump forward. Inhale at the top. Exhale to fold. Let's bend into the knees, Utkatasana. And this time we're going to take it to a squat. I'm just backing up for the camera's sake. So just as low as you could go based on your needs. And when you get there, if you can, instead of reaching forward, you're going to bring your fingers to your belly. You might have to reach forward because otherwise this tends to happen. You might fall on your butt. So it's okay if you have to keep reaching. If you're bringing your hands to your belly, it's just to the side of your belly button. Not an exact science, so don't worry. It's just going to help you round your mid-back more. So keep the rounded shape that you have. Release your hands to the floor, about 12 inches in front of your toes. Heels up, knees to arms. Bakasana. So just pay attention to how your butt moves forward as your weight transfers into your hands. When you're ready, jump back, chaturanga. Inhale and exhale. So the reason we're doing all these weird little weight things in dog and just what we did now is for the headstands later. Because you have to have a relationship between your butt and your shoulders and know where they are in relation to each other so that you can balance and get up into the headstands. Let's lift the right leg high for an inhale and step it forward to the hands, exhale. Warrior one, back heel down, reach up, inhale. Interlace fingers behind the back, exhale. On the inhale, we're just going to stretch our knuckles toward our back leg, back foot. And we'll stay here for a moment, and we'll just try to keep ourselves square to the top of the mat. Open the chest, open the throat. And on your next exhale, start to fold forward, either your shoulder to your thigh or your shoulder inside of your knee. You can just drop your head, stare at your back foot. And I like to open the palms here so just the fingers are gripped, but the wrists are apart, and then the arms come further over. So for those of you with tight shoulders, if you give yourself that allowance, you might feel a little more in your shoulders. Let's slowly release fingertips down either side of the right foot and lift the back heel. So it's just a very simple lunge. Inhale to straighten your front leg. You can flex the foot if you want. Exhale, bend. 2 more times. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale. And exhale. And palms flat and step back, vinyasa. Exhale to bend the elbows. Inhale, chest up, throat open. Exhale, downward dog. And we'll step the left foot to the hands. Warrior one. Inhale to reach up. Exhale to interlace the fingers. Goofy thumb on top. So as you're sliding your knuckles down that back leg, you have a pretty good idea if your back leg is strong. So keep that in your mind. And next exhale, we'll fold forward. And now you can see if your back leg is strong. Literally with your eyes. Adjust your palms or wrists if you need to. Some people here with crazy open shoulders, you might get your knuckles close to the ground. Okay, and we'll slowly release fingertips down. Back heel up, so it's a simple lunge. Inhale to straighten the left leg. Exhale to bend it. 2 more times. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. 1 more time. And palms flat for vinyasa. Find your breath. When you get to downward dog, lift your heels. And bring them to the right so your toes face the left. Bend the right knee. It's just a side bend, much like what you did earlier, a side stretch. The waist on that left side getting stretched apart. And change the direction of the toes. Now that right foot anchors on the ground, the left knee bends, and we push extra into that right hand. The chest is still moving back just like it would in any downward dog. And bring your heels back to a nice normal downward dog. Let's walk hands to feet. When you can, reach for your big toes. Inhale, first two fingers and thumbs, grip around the big toes. Exhale to fold. A few more breaths here. Each inhale, you're going to lengthen your spine. And each exhale, you'll just fold a little bit deeper. I like to think about shifting my weight slightly forward on each inhale because it allows the belly to relax more and it allows the spine to lengthen. On your next inhale, whenever that is, straighten the arms and look slightly forward and slide the hands underneath the feet so that your toes are by your inner wrists. Inhale there and fold again on the exhale. I like to crack my neck in this position and in pretty much all the forward folds of that style. Take two more breaths. We'll release the hands to the floor in front of the feet and keep your heels down as you walk your hands forward. There will be a time that your legs have to get really, really strong in order to keep the heels down. And maybe even then they won't stay, but that's the idea. Okay, so think about where your butt is right now. Keep your mind on your butt as you lift your heels up high. Inhale. Bend your knees. Exhale. And jump forward. Next inhale is straightening the legs. Exhale, fold. Bend into the knees. Inhale. And again, we'll sit into the squat. This time we'll come all the way to the floor. So if your knees hurt, just come to the floor a different way. We'll lift the legs and frame the legs so the arms are just about shoulder height. Just next to the legs, kind of loosely. Tim says the medium pizza box size. I've never ordered a medium pizza in my life. Large pizzas all the way. So you can guess what the medium pizza looks like. Let's bend the knees again, soles of the feet down, round your back so that you can come to your squat. I'm just going to back up because I lost some of the mat. You might have to also. We're going to take Bakasana to tripod. So hands down, 12 inches in front of your toes. Pay attention to your butt as you shift your weight. Your heels will lift, your toes will point. Eventually, there you are in an arm balance. Bend your elbows, bring your head down. And start to lift your butt up. At some point, your knees will get light. When they do, bring them together, and then the legs can straighten if they want. They do not have to. Your exit. Let's just lower the legs so we can see them. So we're in an L shape. Gently place them on the floor. Slide the hands forward a bit and come into forearm downward dog. So you're still a downward facing creature. You just kind of slithered from one pose to another. And when you came into down dog B, the head lifted, the neck had that release. Let's re-straighten the arms. Right leg up high, inhale, and step forward to the hands, exhale. High lunge, inhale, into warrior two, exhale. Let's bring our right arm, the front arm, we're gonna turn it shoulder in and try to bring our knuckles to our back, between the shoulder blades. Often we go top arm first, but let's just see how you deal with this. So once the right arm is set, the left arm, you're gonna roll palm up, arm up, and then bend the elbow. You can always link onto a strap or just hold your shirt if this Gomukhasana grip is not comfortable. And just press your head gently into your arm. And as you're doing that, control your back bend. Lift your pubic bone up toward your belly button so that you're not just sticking your butt out. And we'll release the arms, normal warrior 2. Straighten the right leg. Let's scoot the left foot in a little bit so that we can have a triangle with comfortable stance. Reach out and down. Right hand either to the shin, the big toe, the block. And for today, let's reach the stop arm over the ear. And we're gonna try to get that side stretch that we've already had many times. We're just gonna go for it again because it never gets old. Just keeps getting better. So that top hip is moving back away from that top hand. And we'll slowly untwist. Let's turn it into just a normal lunge again with that back heel up. Just like you did before, we're going to straighten the front leg for an inhale and bend it again for the exhale. Same exact thing, 2 more times. Nothing crazy. Just getting that hamstring happy. Okay, vinyasa. And we'll go for side 2 whenever you're in down dog. You can just lift the left leg high, or you don't have to do that piece. We'll step forward. High lunge with the left foot forward into warrior 2. So our right arm, we're going to roll the shoulder forward so the knuckles can come between the shoulder blades. The left arm, we're going to turn palm up, reach up, and then just bend the elbow. The elbow will stay where it is. The forearm will just come down to meet. The tendency here is really to stick our butts out too much because then it's easier to get this grip behind the back. So you have to just monitor yourself. Press the head back so the throat is open. Okay, we'll slowly release the grip, warrior 2. Straighten the left leg, scoot the right foot in a little bit, reach out and down. The inhale is reaching out, and the exhale, let the hand come to where it needs to come. Lean the top shoulder back. And when you can, top arm over the ear. So there's a rotation there, just like in an extended side angle. You can turn your palm to face the crown of your head and then extend the arm over the ear. That's one way to get into it. Another way would be sweeping your arm down, kind of letting it pass your legs. The palm is then already facing back as you reach over the ear. It does not matter how you come into it. As long as your shoulder's rotating, you feel like your arm is in the socket, and you're opening that side body. Let's rise up for an inhale. Return to your lunge, exhale, fingers down, back heel up. And 3 times we'll just straighten the front leg and bend it again. And we straighten and we bend. 1 more time. Okay, palms down, vinyasa. When you get to down dog, either step or jump your feet toward your hands. Doesn't have to be all the way to. And we'll lower to our butt again. This time we're going to let our feet come off the ground, but give ourselves a hug. And let's see if we can have just our tippy toes on the floor. So that would require us to rock a smidge forward on the sitting bones. The tendency here is that we go too far forward and we plunk our feet down again. So we're just trying to find this delicate position where we can use all that core strength to stay situated. And keep your thighs close to you. They're not going to stay as close. And just lift the legs up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Utkatasana. Feet down. Shift the weight. Lift the arms. Let's twist to the right. Hook your left elbow outside that right thigh. Thumbs to center chest. And step your left foot back whenever you can. Lean back with that right shoulder. Look up if you can. We're going to take a few versions of this. For now, we'll just keep it here. We'll look down, and we'll step our back foot to meet our front foot. No problem. Untwist, squat, and find your Utkatasana, this time into a low boat. So we'll be sort of rounded more, and our eyes are about level with the toes. And it feels a little bit like we're reaching our fingers toward our toes. Let's try to take it to high boat again, straightening the legs as we lift. And we'll return to Utkatasana by bending the knees, shifting the weight onto the feet, and lift the arms. We'll twist the other way. I'm going to turn myself around. So it's tempting here to have the thumb at your shoulder. Two things to do to get that thumb to center of chest. You have to push your top hand more into your bottom hand, and you have to push your right elbow more into your leg. Purely pushing and breathing will get you there. The legs have to be stable, of course. So that's, you're building every pose from the ground up. So before you can even deal with the twist, stabilize your legs. Okay, look down, back foot forward. Untwist and have a seat. This time we'll have the soles of the feet together and just open the legs to Baddha Konasana. Chest forward, knees drop down. I like to actually pull my chest forward a little bit. The head will be somewhere in front of your toes. If you have a block handy, you could put it there. Okay, and we'll rise up. We're going to bring the feet wide and come into a goddess type pose with our hands on the knees. Arms are going to stay straight. And as we drop the shoulders forward, the knees are going to push back automatically. So it's pretty lazy of a pose. Bring your right shoulder forward and twist. The knees are automatically pushing back, so you have that inner thigh opening. Go the other way. Okay, and we'll come through center. We'll just stand up, bring the feet together, and come to the top of the mat for Utkatasana. Knees bend, arms up, and take your twist like you did before. Hook your left arm. So you could repeat what we did, or left hand to the floor, right hand up. And when you feel comfortable with that, step left foot back. The hand could be on a block if you feel like the floor is far away. This relationship between arm and leg gets even more relevant when your arms are separated. You can see just how much you have to push those limbs together. Let's slowly untwist, lower the back knee to the floor, and we'll straighten the front leg for an inhale, bend it again for an exhale. So you're dragging yourself into this Anjaneasana, and you're pushing yourself back into this half split. That right heel is the thing that's initiating, and it's making this right hamstring work. So just pay attention to how that happens for you. It's pretty automatic, but you can make everything bigger if you think about it. Okay. We're going to, let's have a seat. Kristen find something to sit on or stay in Anjaneasana, or anyone else with knee issues. So we're going to have a seat here in this half Virasana pose. And we're just going to bend the right leg and reach forward. Not so bad, right? Let's reach for the foot and then lift the leg up. Push the foot into the hands. Still not so bad. You have this support. The hand and foot together is offering you this, this incentive to lean a little bit forward. Let's try to keep the leg there. Just frame the leg as you would have in a two-legged boat pose. Now it's a little harder. We tend to lean back, so we just have to work harder to sit up tall. Okay, place the foot. Hands come down. Let's vinyasa. And from down dog, we'll just step our left foot forward. I'm just going to spin around. Oh no, we're not going to step our left foot forward. I lied to you guys. Step both feet forward. Make your way to Utkatasana. And then twist, because we're going to practice also that stepping back aspect of it. So you find your twist in Utkatasana. The right hand can come down, left hand up. And you're pushing your left knee into your arm as you step your right foot back. And as soon as your right foot lands back there, your legs have to squeeze together so that you can stay balanced as you twist a little bit more. Okay, and we'll slowly get out of there. Lower the back knee, there's Anjaneasana. Inhale to Ardha Hanumanasana. Exhale, hips are coming forward and down. And then straightening the leg, the hips are moving up and back. Just 2 more times. The back toes can be tucked or not. But when we come into the Virasana position, they're going to have to be untucked. So we'll untuck the back toes and have a seat. Your right hip is just inside of your arch. And bend into the left leg. Sit up tall. And notice how much weight is pushing into that left foot. It might be considerable. And that's the weight that we have to transfer into abdominal strength to keep us lifted. So we're going to hold our foot. Reach the foot forward and up. As the foot pushes into the hand, you will be upright pretty easily. Even if the hamstring's tight and your leg is bent like this, you'll still have that upward action. Now let the leg float. And now just be a little bit stubborn about keeping your upward action. Belly in and up, chest up, crown of the head up. And when you're ready, lower the foot, vinyasa. Just kind of a crawling forward. We'll stay in downward dog for a few breaths, just so that I can take a little jog over here and get my sweat towel. Okay. Oh, I should have gotten that like 20 minutes ago. Okay, let's jump our feet forward. Our last twisted Utkatasana. Bend into the knees, arms up. Hook that left arm. This time, when you can, you'll keep your hands in prayer as you step back. You'll keep your left elbow bent. You're going to bring your right hand to your forearm. Right hand to left forearm. Just the fingers is fine. And you're going to start to push your right hand, or no, what hand is that? That's the left hand. Your left hand is going to move toward your butt. If your shoulder's okay with this action, you're going to let your hand slide under the thigh. Once your fingers clear the thigh, getting the right hand around is very easy. The problem really is this rotation in the shoulder. So I like to go very easy first with this as like a little lever. Make sure it feels okay. And let's slowly unravel, because some of you were in there for a while. And if you were working on it, 5 breaths a few times a week is enough. Let's meet in this half split. You might have to back your left knee up a little bit so that the left thigh is vertical. And either stay here or swivel so your toes face the right. Swivel from the hip. And then you'll have this crazy, quasi-painful Stretch down the right outer thigh, the IT band. Okay, we're going to return to Anjaneasana. Optional exit. We did this on Friday quite a bit. Anjaneasana. So you're just going to bring your shoulder under your knee. Hands will be the same as they would be in like a down dog, no wider, no narrower. Scoot your right foot forward until it's up. With your left toes, propel your weight forward. So that left ankle is important. It pushes your ribs onto your elbow, and then your left leg can lift. Vinyasa whenever you're ready from there. Or maybe you're already in downward dog. And we'll meet in Utkatasana. So stepping or jumping feet forward. Knees are going to be together, feet together, squeeze to that midline, and twist. Get as high a hook on your arm and leg as you can, and step right foot back. So those of you that know the bind, just go ahead right into it. If you're new to binding idea, your left fingers can just come to your right forearm, and it's a very gentle thing. It's just a little nudge to get this shoulder to roll in. The only way you're actually going to get your fingers under the thigh is if your armpit is very close to this left thigh. If you're higher up, there's this big gap here between your ribs and your thigh, it's not going to really have enough room. Take 2 more breaths. And that's part of why we did 2 versions before we did the bind, just to get you used to that deeper twist. And we'll slowly get out of there. Lower the right leg down and make your way to a half split. Adjust your right knee as needed. So that you still have this length of spine, swivel from the hip. So the ankle's not bending at all, the knee is not bending at all. And I know this is my tight side just because my foot is going to a different place on the mat. So it's kind of fun to notice all those things. All right, and we'll bring ourselves into Anjaneasana again. So the shoulder under the knee, most of you, it's going to be no problem. The problem starts when we have to get this front foot off the ground. So that's going to be a hamstring thing, flexibility-wise. So you got to start to engage your quads once your left foot is off the ground. Then think chaturanga. Catch your ribs with your right elbow. Shift your weight forward. And then you just keep that forwardness as you vinyasa. Okay, let's bring our feet forward to Utkatasana again. And we'll have a seat on our butts again. So going through the squat or any other way. Lift the legs, low boat. Find that kind of even rounding. And just bring the right knee into the chest, as close as it will go. And keep it close as you release your head and shoulders down. And let the left leg come to the mat as straight as it can be. No problem. Just take 1 more breath. And remember how this feels. Your ears and shoulders and hips are all in the same line. It's no problem. Let's lift the right leg up. And very slowly, we'll squeeze the thighs together so the legs meet at about 45 degrees. And just pay attention to that squeezing, because that is also a headstand type of activity. So we'll bring the left leg in, do a little sit-up so that you can touch thigh to chest. Your right leg can start to move down. And try to keep your thigh on your chest as you lower your head and shoulders. And that's going to depend on your hip flexibility. Do your best to keep your arms in the sockets, your shoulders rolled back. And then lift the leg up Arms could be wherever you want. We're just gonna squeeze the legs, come into that 45-degree angle. If it's painful in any way, have your legs higher. If it's too easy, have your legs lower. Keep squeezing your legs together, so it's like they're one. And let's rise up to our Nawasana. Ooh, I need like a rope on the feet to lift the chest. Okay, soles of the feet down. Let's just step into downward dog. You can vinyasa there if you need to. If you've been holding your breath, that would indicate that you need to. Okay, we're gonna step the right foot forward, maybe 3/4 of the way, twisted triangle. Right arm up. Nothing so fancy, but challenging. We have to press into the ball of the right foot to send the right hip back. Okay, untwist a bit. Slide the left hand forward, lift the left leg. Parita Ardha Chandrasana. Either stay here or bend the back leg to find your foot with your right hand and kick. And as you kick, let your right shoulder move back so that you feel more of an opening through the right pectoral muscles. We'll release that foot if you have it lifted and lower it back to your triangle-like stance, your twisted triangle-like stance. So some of you are going to repeat twisted triangle just like we did. Some of you put a little bend in the front leg. You might even lift your heel at first. Hook your arm, find your bind, and then re-straighten and re-establish your twisted triangle legs. So you're either in twisted triangle normal or bound. It's very tricky for the shoulders, of course, but I find that the bound one makes that right hip have to work way harder to go back. Let's slowly unravel whatever we have and vinyasa. Take your time. I will bring the left foot forward. I'm just gonna spin myself about 3/4 of the way forward, not a full lunge stance. Right hand, either block or floor, either side of the foot, left arm up. So we're pushing into the ball of the left foot. That helps control the hips. And we're pushing into the right fingertips. That's gonna help us get that right shoulder over the hand more. And we'll be twisting deeper. And we'll slowly unravel, reach forward, launch the back leg up, and either stay with the leg straight or grab hold of the foot. It's back there somewhere. Okay, we'll step back again. Take your time getting your stance so your heels are lighted up. Your back foot's about 45 degrees. To get the bind, I like to bend the front knee, but I also like to lift the back heel. It's just easier for me. But however you can do that. And notice I do this little pushy through thing, because otherwise the shoulder doesn't always go. So it's just a little nudge. And you're going to push your left leg into your arm. Okay, we'll slowly get out of there and vinyasa. Okay, step the right foot forward. Now let's just lower the left knee down. Anjaneasana. Oh, Lordy. All right, we're gonna reach back with the left hand, either for the outside of the ankle or the inside. And we're just gonna keep our hips moving forward and down on that trajectory, and just let that back arm stay straight. So it takes this left chest into a great stretch. The challenge is gonna be keeping your left ribs moving forward. Okay, slowly let that go. Let's just lift the back knee, quarter turn to the side so that you can have Prasarita A. Hands down between the feet, head down between the feet. The catch is that your hands and head have to make a triangle. So it's like your hands are between your heels and your head is between your toes. We're gonna try to come up to Bakasana from here. If that is not in your style, you're gonna stay here and then move through a few of the other Prasaritas, holding the feet or interlacing the fingers behind your back. Those of you going up, you're gonna start just coming into a headstand. So your weight has to shift from your heels to the balls of your feet, and then eventually your feet could start lifting up. You don't even have to go all the way up into a headstand. You can just go part way up. You're gonna try to put your knees on your upper arms. So you're rounding your back. They might not land where you want at first. So you wiggle till they're where you want. Roll toward your forehead, squeeze your legs into your arms, look forward, and try to get your arms straighter. Take your time trying it, maybe a few times. We're just gonna meet in Prasarita again. So the whole time you're pressing into your fingers and you're just very controlled and slow so that you know where your weight is, so that there are no surprises. We're gonna meet in Anjaneasana on the other side. So take your time lowering your feet, straightening your arms, and then just walking your hands to the left foot. So there's a lot of things about that sequence that we just did that are hard. You just have to take it one step at a time. Let's meet with our right hand on our right foot or ankle, inside or outside. So we always start with the foundation. Whenever your feet are on the ground, that's your foundation. But in that headstand, it started out with your feet on the ground, but as soon as they started shifting, your hands and your head took over. So your fingers become so important. When you lifted your head from the headstand, your hands were your entire foundation. Let's take a few more breaths here. Try to bring the right ribs forward. Keep dropping the hips lower so you get that crazy stretch for the thigh. And we'll slowly get out of there. Vinyasa. Okay, we'll come to hands and knees. And let's bring our forearms down, just checking the clock, okay. Forearms down, let's measure out our distance and interlace the fingers again. And before we do anything lifting, we're just gonna drop our chest and lift it away. So it's not a huge thing. I don't even know if the Zoom camera will pick up a detail like this, but it's plugging the arms in to the socket and then taking them away. So this just proves to us that we have control of our shoulders. So let's lift the knees, walk the feet in, and either stay here or practice walking your feet in closer. If you have no neck problems, lower your head. And we're gonna just keep walking the feet until they have no more in to go, and they have to start going up. And notice how your butt moves forward to counterbalance the weight of your legs. So you can keep your eye on your toes the whole time, or you can let your legs rise to vertical, and then you won't be able to see them anymore.
But our exit is not going to be through chaturanga. It's going to be just rewinding from wherever we are. So you'll start bringing your legs down again. You'll be able to see your toes again. Eventually, and very slowly, they're going to land on the floor. Then you're going to push into the edge of your hand and your wrist and get your head off the ground again. So we meet up with our friends that didn't go into headstand. We're all in that dolphin scenario. Okay, place the knees down again and come into a regular downward dog. So we're going to do all the Baddha Hastas, the bound headstands, Baddha Hasta Sirsasana. We're going to do all of those with that same forward and back, rewinding out kind of idea. Okay, before we do the next one, right foot forward, left knee down. We'll do a little bang between each one so you don't die. And so I don't die. Okay, so now we're going to try to reach both hands back. If you find that that is not fun, do the way we did it before, where you have one hand back. Same idea otherwise. The hips are moving down and forward as we kick into the hand. So we'll feel this stretch in the shoulders and the pecs. I even feel it in the belly. So this is the best way to find the stretch, but if you're curious about that balance situation when we bring the back foot to the floor, feel free to try that. So I'm going to unbend the front leg a little bit, but keep pressing into the foot and let the back foot come to the ground. The stretch is not as fun, but the strength is fun. Let's slowly get out of there and just step to downward dog. So when the front knee starts to unbend, we sort of lose the quadricep stretch, but it becomes a pose about, really about your foundation, about that front foot staying down. Let's bring the left foot forward, back knee down. Take your time. Hands to ankle. I like to try to interlace pretty close to the webbing. If you're going to bring your back foot all the way down, that might change as you bring it down. But for right now, just enjoy the quad stretch, the chest stretch. And notice how much that front foot is pushing down and dragging you forward. If you're going to bring your back foot to the floor, that relationship between front knee and foot changes. But somehow your left foot has to figure out how to stay down. So I just fell out of it. I'm going to try it one more time. You might have fallen out of it also. We're all going to meet in downward dog. So you decide if you need to try it again. And vinyasa if you did not, just so that you cleanse your palate. Okay, we're going to try Baddha Hasta B. So let's come to hands and knees again. If you found that A was difficult, repeat it, or just repeat dolphin 1,000 times. So this position, I'm going to show you on the, actually maybe the mat will work. Sometimes I feel like it's too dark on here, so just yell if it's too dark. So it's the same measuring of the elbows. They can't be any wider than that. This time, it's really weird. We're going to put our thumbs in our elbow creases and put our forehead in front of the forearm. And then we lift the knees. So we have the same elbow head situation, just that our hands are pretty useless. Really, it's an elbow, shoulder, neck, butt, all of that in relation, but the hands are just kind of there. So we're going to walk our feet in until they feel light, and then your elbows will take over. That is your foundation. You can keep seeing your toes or not. And just remember that your return trip is just pressing rewind. So we very slowly lower the legs. Ooh, mine was not that slow. I hope yours was slower. Once the feet go down, we lift the head. Change the hands. And let's meet in regular downward dog. Okay, right foot forward.
Did you say that the head was on the forehead or on the crown of the head?
The head is still on the crown of the head. All your headstands are going to be right on the crown of your head.
Okay.
Your forearms are going to be on your,
Good.
but the head always has to be crown of the head on the ground.
Okay, makes sense.
I can't think of any exception in a headstand where that's not the case. All right, Anjaneasana, right leg in front. This time spin your right foot to the side and let your knee move away from you. Left hand or forearm down. Right hand is going to go back. And this time we're going to pull the foot toward us instead of kick it away. And maybe your heel can touch your butt. This is much more humane than some of the other ones we've done. This feels good. Okay, let's slowly get out of there, change sides. You can just step back and bring the left foot forward. So one of the things I like to do here that I don't think most folks enjoy, but I'll just tell you anyway in case you do, I like to have this right hand a little bit far out and then bring the shoulder up toward my ear. And for me, that brings a nice stretch to the waist that I otherwise don't necessarily have in this pose. Okay, so we'll get out of there and vinyasa. All right, so a lot of poses, A is easier than B is easier than C. Let's come down to the knees. That's not necessarily true in headstands because they're very different shoulder rotations. So just because B was hard doesn't mean you're not going to like C. Make a choice if you want to repeat something or go to C. Measure out the elbows, forearms parallel, fingers spread. And it just starts like a down dog B. Then we're going to place the head, crown of the head, and start walking your feet in. And you'll start to feel a moment where your butt is far enough over your arms that you can get your feet off the ground so that there's no kicking necessary. Go ahead on up. Those of you having a little trouble, I'm going to show you a cheat. And if you're not having any trouble, just keep going on up. Know that you have to come down the same way. So I'm just bringing this weird little stool we have in my house, and I'm just going to be here. And then instead of lifting my legs up from here, I'm going to bring my feet to the stool so that my butt is already higher. And then it might be a little easier to get the legs to lift. So you can always practice it on a stool for a few years until you feel like going from the floor works. So let's meet in downward dog. Take your time getting there. And you guys know that I am an advocate of Mysore style. One of the reasons is because there are so many ways in and out of every pose that maybe the lead class won't bring you into. Let's bring the right leg into pigeon. And another reason is because some of us find something easy and then someone else it's very hard. And when you're in a Mysore style or just practicing on your own, you can really dive into the things that you find challenging. Okay. So if you can be here in pigeon without hands, squeezing the legs like crazy, you're going to reach back, just like we did before. Both hands to the left ankle, and you're going to kick. You'll find that once you get into this grip, it's a little easier to stay upright. The moments where your hands are in the air, not on the floor, not yet on your ankle, those are the most difficult, most precarious.
So let your chest open here. Keep kicking into your hands. So that leg in the back is very strong. Just take one more breath, maybe roll the shoulders back a little more. Okay, I will slowly let that go. Let's rock onto this right hip so that we can straighten the leg and find Anjaneasana. Once you've got the leg straight, you could just rock to center again. You can wedge as much stuff under that thigh as you want. And press that front heel into the ground and try to bend your front leg a little bit. That's going to keep you more square. Okay, downward dog. From here, it's very hard. We lift the back knee. Now we try to keep the belly in so the right leg can slide back. A lot of the time I wind up wriggling my mat because the leg wasn't quite light enough. Left leg pigeon. And just take your time getting comfy. When you're ready, reach back. You could do one hand at a time. You could do both hands at the same time. Some of you, it's going to be easier to go with the left or the right. Doesn't matter. You're going to kick. Okay, so we'll slowly get out of there. Take your vinyasa. And we'll meet in downward dog. We're going to head into our last of the Baddha Hasta Sirsasanas. So we'll come to the hands and knees. Feel free to repeat any of the others. This one's a little gnarly. I'm going to face this way so you can see my fingers. So it'll start out with the same measuring. You can even start with the fingers gently interlaced just so you know where to put your head. And once you hit your head there, you're going to lift your hands to your shoulders. So you only have 2 elbows and a head on the ground. And then you can lift your knees, start to walk your toes in. Your butt will compensate for the weight of your legs. And you can go as high as you want with your legs or keep them in your view. You can also use that stool technique. The way out is going to be the way you came in, 2 legs together, lowering toward the floor. Releasing the hands to down dog B, release the head off the ground, and then straighten your arms. So it takes an amazing amount of shoulder strength because getting your head off the ground is a pretty big deal. But it's good for us. Okay, let's step forward and squat. Just stay here for a sec. Gently come down to your butt. Try to keep your heels pretty close to your butt and your chest forward. And we'll lower the hands down about 12 inches behind and separate the feet about hips width. I'm going to lower my shirt so that you don't see my skin. It's really pale, it'll shock you. Let's lift the hips. Reverse table. So you can look at your knees and see that your hips are as high as your knees, or you could look at the ceiling or drop your head back. Take 2 more breaths. Okay, and we'll lower down. And let's bring the feet together again. This time we're going to hug underneath our thighs and lift the toes so that we're just balancing, and maybe we'll straighten the legs. Balls of the feet pressing up, belly in. We'll bend the knees again. This time we'll do the same reverse table idea. Some of you are going to fold one leg back.
Left foot will still be in that tabletop position. I like to bend the elbows and kind of drop into it. Once my torso feels low, I roll the shoulders back, squeeze the elbows together, and lift. So it's pretty much the same thing. It's just that now you're pressing into your top of foot on that one side, and you're getting a different thigh stretch. Okay, come on down, and we'll switch legs. If you are in reverse tabletop, you can always do Purvottanasana instead of this, if you prefer, because maybe reverse tabletop gets old. Those of you with this one shin bent, remember that your right foot is still active, or the foot that's the sole of the foot on the ground. For me, it's the right, but it might be the other for you. So you have one sole active and one top of foot active. Okay, and we'll slowly come on down. Let it go, both legs out straight. And let's just bring the knuckles in and start to drop the elbows a little bit. Okay, shake it out. Let's bring the right sole of foot to the left thigh, but we'll take a sort of Anjaneasana style of this. We're gonna let the heel, instead of come to the left hip crease, it's gonna come to the right hip crease, so that our legs are not 90 degrees. This right knee is further back. And we're gonna reach the left hand around the back to hold our thigh, and we'll fold. Let's rise up. Switch so you face the bent knee. Place your left hand on that thigh and reach the right arm up and over. It may or may not touch your foot. Either way, you're going to try to get your shoulder inside of your leg. And slowly let that go. And let's lay back. We'll do the other side in just a moment. So if you have a ponytail or a bun that prevents the back of your head from touching the floor, just slide it more up and out of the way. Let's lift the hips, interlace your fingers under your back, and literally rock side to side so that you can pin your arms closer together. Let's try to get palms to touch and the edge of your hand to touch the floor. It's possible that you can do one or the other and not both. If that's the case, just choose one. Hips up a little more. And let's keep the hands as they are. Just lower your butt onto your forearms. And you wind up in a chest opener that's not all that different from an Anjaneasana thing. Just a little less extreme. Deep breath. And we'll let that go. And let's rock and roll, knees into the chest. And just make your way to sitting. Take your time. Once you get to sitting, let's balance for a moment. And instead of holding under the thighs like we did before, we're going to hold the edges of the feet and then just lift up. So we wind up in the same place. If you don't want to hold your feet, you could do the same arms under your thighs wrap. You end up in the same spot. Belly in, so it's not smushed up against your thighs. Let's let the feet slip away. Let's let them lower all the way down. And we'll bend the left leg. I'm just going to face this way for the sake of the camera. Open it up to like a Anjaneasana style. Wrap around your back. Grab hold of your thigh. It's a big shoulder situation, so maybe you're holding your clothes. instead of your thigh, that's okay. You can even have your hand on your low back if you need. And we'll just rise up and find our side bend. So we twist toward the bent knee. I like to put the hand on the thigh just so that this shoulder stays forward as I come into the fold. Otherwise, the shoulder might end up back here somewhere, and then the twist becomes really hard. But people do all kinds of things with that right arm. So for me, I can use the hand on the thigh to help get that shoulder inside. You can also reach it out in front of you where you can see it easily. We're twisting open toward the ceiling. And let's slowly get out of there. And we'll just lay down again on our backs. Feel free to repeat Setu Bandha, Sarvangasana, or we're going to come up into Urdhva Dhanurasana. Once we get up there, we're just going to rock forward and back. And that's just your legs firing up and then relaxing a little. It's each exhale that they fire up. It's each inhale that they relax a little bit. And let's come on down to the back. Take your time, and when you get there, just lift your legs up to vertical, so it's like you're an L. Squeeze the legs together, and lower them about 12 inches more toward the floor. See if you can keep your back down. Take a breath. Belly in toward your spine, and go a little lower if you want. Think of reaching your feet away from you so that the legs are not so heavy. They'll feel like more like ballerina legs. Visualize how light they always look. They have such extension. Now let's bring our legs up all the way to that L. And bend the knees, heels close to your butt. We'll lift up into, again, either bridge or wheel, or this time forearm wheel. The reason we use Sanskrit a lot is because bridge could be called 1,000 different things. Or wheel, really, there's another pose called wheel. So bridge would be this one. This is Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. Urdhva Dhanurasana would be this one. Sometimes called wheel, but it's not really. So better to call it Urdhva Dhanurasana. Or those of you comfy there, come to the crown of your head. Walk your hands closer to your feet, come to your elbows. This is called Viparita Dandasana. Once you have weight in your elbows, chest moves through your arms a little bit, and the head can come up. So the same idea of rocking that we had in Urdhva Dhanurasana. Your feet and your legs are going to propel your chest through your arms. The way out of Viparita Dandasana is through Urdhva Dhanurasana. So you place your hands again, straighten the arms, and then just lower down. Let's lift the legs again up to an L. And this time, keep your right leg there. Just have your left leg slide down anywhere. It could touch the floor or not. And we're going to let them meet again at that 45 degree. I just want us to pay attention to that squeezing action that the legs get. And then keep them going so that they open to the L again. And just alternate at your speed. Just find the relationship between inner thighs and low belly. This will be turning into your Pincha Mayurasana momentarily. The legs have to have a very close relationship in Pincha Mayurasana. The left leg has to know exactly what the right leg is doing and vice versa. Okay, let's bring the knees in. Rock a little forward and back. And we'll come through a squat into down dog B. You can get there in 1,000 different ways. We just wind up with our forearms on the ground. Before we actually come into Anjaneasana, we're going to take another shoulder stretch, Anjaneasana. Knees down, walk your knees back a little bit so that you can drop your chest. Lately, my favorite way to do this is with a block. So if you have a block, you might want to grab it and just see if this way works for you. I like to put the pinky edge of the hand on the block and then drop the chest. I have no room here with that wall behind me. It's kind of funny. There's a lot of different arm variations here. Really, you're just trying to keep your bandhas engaged so it's not over back bending in your low back. And you want to get into a little more back bend in your upper back. Okay, somehow slither out of there. And let's try Anjaneasana. So the legs, one is going to have to overshoot your body a little bit. So it's going to reach up and away. Think of that ballerina kind of up situation. The second leg, we're just trying to get it off the ground. That would be sort of good enough, and they have to talk to each other. So starting in your down dog B, doesn't matter which one you do, you'll step one foot forward a little bit. And the leg that you're kicking with is going to be as tall and straight as it can be. It's going to make a big arc and take up space. The leg that's pushing into the floor is just going to push a small amount as it can to get it off the ground so that your hips wind up over your shoulders. If you're choosing to bring both legs together, the thighs squeeze in, just like we did when we were laying on our backs. The exit can be through chaturanga or the way we were doing it before, where you lower down again. Let's meet in a straight arm downward dog. Okay, let's walk our feet forward. Lower to our butt nice and slow so that the back is rounded as you do that. And we'll straighten the legs forward, fold Paschimottanasana. Let's rise up. We're going to take a long version of Baddha Konasana. So heels pretty far away from your pelvis, big diamond shape with your legs. And bring the crown of your head or your forehead to the arch of the feet. If this feels okay and your back feels good and your bandhas feel strong today, go for Baddha Hasta B. Baddha Konasana, sorry. Then the heels are close to you, and we're going to try to bring the head to the feet still, even though they're right up in our business, right here. So it takes more rounding. Sometimes I stick my elbows in my guts, just to the side of the belly button. I think this is the hardest of the Baddha Konasanas. So you really curl in on yourself. And when you've had enough of such things, come on down to your back. Let's lift the legs up. We're just going to take two versions of Happy Baby. First one, hold the inside of your heels. Let your knees move a little bit far away from you as you push down with your hands. And even though the hands are in a different place than what you're maybe used to, you're still going to visualize your shin bones like straws, like the drinking straw. That is, thankfully, I think now banned in Encinitas. Waste of plastic. So the drinking straw idea is that if you were looking through the straw from the top, you can see the floor. That means that your heel is right over your knee. Let's release, legs up, shake it out a little bit. And now the other version that you might be more used to, hold the pinky toe edges of your feet, and now your knees are a little bit closer to you as you pull your thighs down toward the floor. Still the drinking straw idea. Arms in the sockets, shoulders down. And let that go, legs up, just shake it out a little bit. And if there's anything you need before Shavasana, do that. And when you're ready, relax. If you have a towel or anything to cover your eyes, that's always a lovely way to go deeper. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Namaha. Shivaya Namaha. Shivaya Namaha. Shivaya Namaha. Sambho Shankara Namah Shivaya. Girija Shankara Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Namaha. Shivaya Namaha. Shivaya Namaha. Shivaya Namaha. Arunachala Shiva Namah Shivaya. Arunachala Shiva Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Namaha. Shivaya Namaha. Shivaya Namaha. Shivaya Namaha. Sambho Shankara Namah Shivaya. Girija Shankara Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya.
Take a few more breaths. Take your time rolling to the side. And with eyes closed, rising up. So we just spent 90 minutes cultivating some inner control, inner peace, breathing deeply, working out all of the angst that gets kind of stuck in the muscles. So as you go about your day and you watch the news, just try to take a deep breath and control what you can, which also does mean talk to your congresspeople, your local police departments. You can control some things externally as well. Let's bring the hands together. Take a deep inhale. And fold forward, exhale. Namaste.